Now you good, you good, you good. So what's your real name?
Jamarquez Calloway.
All right, so tell them what they call you.
Call me Fathead.
What they call you, Fathead? Where do you get that name from?
My uncle gave me that name when I came out with my woman. He was like, I got a big head, so he started calling me Fathead. And I just ran with it.
For real?
Yeah. I just ran with it.
That's awesome, man. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. You grew up?
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, Simpson Road.
Oh, okay.
The hood, the west side of Atlanta.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm on the south side now, though.
A better part?
Yeah, much better, much better.
Yeah. Fathead, man, do you believe in some type of afterlife? You don't have to have my same belief system. What do you think happens to a person as soon as they lights out?
I mean, I really don't understand that, so I really don't know. But people always say they believe in afterlife, but then some people say they don't. So it's like I'm in between. Like it could like have it could be an afterlife, but then also it couldn't be.
Yeah.
So I'm really like I'm in between.
Yeah.
So I really don't know yet.
I got you. We know what happens. Here's what we do know: that every single 24 hours, roughly 150,000 people die every single 24 hours. Did you know that?
No.
Every single 24 hours, man, collectively around the world. And by this time tomorrow, 150,000 people will be dead. I have my expiration date. Brother Matthew have his expiration date. Even my precious sons, they had their expiration date. And your expiration date is coming. And I don't want to scare you, but it could be tonight. It could be this evening. And so you don't want not to think about the afterlife. You want to give it some kind of consideration. Just like you getting a degree for your future, you need to be prepared for your eternal future. So would you consider yourself to be a good person?
Yeah, I'm good. I see homeless people, I get them money.
Sure.
I don't disrespect my mother. I help everybody who helped me. I help out if I got it, I help out. So it's like, I don't do nothing bad. So I feel like I'm a good person.
Well, let me give you one more scenario how we know there's a afterlife, okay? You ever heard of a man named Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Do you know he was a real live figure in history? He wasn't a fictitious made-up character. He was a human being like me and you based on history. Most secular historians believe that he was a real live human being. Now, what some people don't agree with is that he's going around saying he was God. That's some people don't agree with. Hey, brother. Doing good. Hey, you got to get his name, man. You got it.
My name's Fathead.
I love it. Like, some people say, well, I know he was a real figure, but there's no way he could be God. There's no way he walked on water. There's no way he did all that stuff like that. Well, historically speaking.
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Good.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing good,
You
doing
can ask
good.
him what they call me.
Say it again?
I went to school with him.
Yeah.
They call him the same thing, huh?
What's that? Oh, yeah, Fathead.
I love your name, man. That's got to be my favorite name in the world. So now here's what Jesus says. Jesus says, don't be afraid of those who can kill the body. He says, be afraid of the one who has power to throw body and soul into hell. So Jesus believed in hell because he actually created it, right? If you really want to go with what people say there's an afterlife. Some people say they don't. Well, Jesus said there's an afterlife, and there's a real place called hell. So if you had to go with what people are saying, would you go with what the crowd is saying? Or would you go with what Jesus said, that there's afterlife and people die and go to hell?
I go with what Jesus said.
I would too. If heaven and hell exist, what would you rate yourself on a percentage scale? 0% right now you go to hell, and 100% you get into heaven. What would you feel like you fall?
I'd probably say I go like, because when I was younger, I ain't gonna lie, when I was younger, I was bad.
Okay.
Because I really didn't know what I was doing. It's just the environment I grew up in.
Sure, man.
I was like
Absolutely.
that. But when I started realizing and I got older, I say I'm about like 75.
75.
I'm at like 75, but it's going up because I do good deeds everywhere. So
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like it's going up.
Well, I'm glad you said that, man, because you are a good guy, man. I feel like you know.
Thank you.
Now, if me and you got up in a plane and I said, hey, Fathead, you got to jump out of this plane, but there's a 75% chance this parachute is going to open, would you be nervous?
Yeah.
See, brother?
All right, my brother.
I would be nervous too. What would you want the parachute to be?
100%.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I would much rather be wrong about me jumping out of a plane than jumping into eternity, right? So let's just see what your percentage is, and I'm gonna give you the good person test. All right. So here's a good person test. Fathead, how many lies have you told in your life combined that you can keep up with?
A lot. I can't even keep up with it. I ain't gonna lie. A lot.
I can't keep up with mine either.
A lot.
Fathead, have you ever stolen anything?
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate your honesty, man.
Yeah.
All right. I grew up in the hood too. I broke into a church one time and stole something.
What?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. I never thought about breaking into church though.
Oh yeah. I was way out there. I was breaking into people's cars and everything.
Oh yeah.
So now here's another one. Jesus said this about adultery. You know what adultery is?
Nah, I never heard of
That's
that.
to have sex with another man's wife, or wife have sex with another man. You know. So that's to have sex outside of marriage.
Yeah.
All right. So Jesus said, if you look at someone with lustful intent, you commit adultery in your heart. Have you ever looked at someone with lust that had sex out of marriage, or watched porn, or
Yeah.
yeah? All right, guilty. So that's violating God's standard from having sex outside of marriage. Sex is not bad. It's just outside of marriage.
Yeah.
It's like fire in the fireplace. As long as you keep the fire in the fireplace, it's great. But if you take that fire and put it on the carpet or the couch, what does it do to the home?
You gonna burn it down.
Well, if you take sex outside of marriage, eventually it's gonna burn people's lives down.
Yeah.
Sexually transmitted diseases, man, men have ruined their lives chasing women, chasing sex. Would you agree?
I see. I look
Yeah.
on Instagram every day.
It's just destroying folks
Yes.
because it's outside of marriage. Now, I'm married. I can have sex 1,000,000 times with my wife and no consequence, but you know what I'm saying? Have you ever used God's name as a cuss word? Like OMG. Or I put that on GOD.
Oh yeah, I say on God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know why. It's just Atlanta people. They just and everybody just run with it.
Do you know in the Bible it was punishable by death to use God's name just for no reason?
Oh no, I ain't know that.
So you know why people just use God's name? I put that on GOD. You know why people do that?
Yeah, so they want the other person to believe them.
Yeah. And sometimes they be lying.
Yeah.
Have you ever been angry with somebody? You almost feel like you can like put some pain on them?
Yes.
You know what the Bible equates that one with?
What?
Murder. The Bible says if you're angry with your brother or sister, you're a murderer. So what does people feel before they kill somebody?
Anger?
So the Bible says as soon as you feel it or you think it, he says you're guilty of murder. All right? Fathead, I am not judging you, man. You just told me that you're a liar, a thief, a murderer, an adulterer, and a blasphemer. And one day you're going to stand before God. And he's a holy and he's righteous. And he's a good judge. So if let's just say somebody broke into your house and stole your property. If you handled it the legal route, you expect the judge to do what to this man that broke into your home?
Send them to jail.
So we have to expect, if God is a good judge, if we violated his standard, what do you think he should do to you on the day of judgment if he's a good judge?
Yeah.
He should send you to hell.
Yeah.
If he let you in, he would be a bad judge. Based on what the Bible says, even though you're a good guy, you can't stand before God on the day of judgment and say, hey, God, I did do some things like good. Like, you're going to let me in, right? God says, no, I'm not punishing you for the good things you did. I'm glad you did those good things. I'm punishing you for the what?
The bad thing.
Yeah, so he has to be a good judge. And the Bible says he'll do what a good judge does. And fathead, on the day of judgment, God will sling you into hell, not because he's bad, it's because he's a good judge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you some good news. Last thing I'll share with you. Tell me how you feeling right now.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thinking about it because I never had nobody tell me this. Like, I was going to church, but then
Yep.
things happened in my household that I had to stop going to church. So,
Got you.
yeah, it was different, but it got me thinking.
It should be concerning. It was concerning to me. And I think Matthew felt the same when we heard this. But I tell you the thing that changed our whole entire life. This is the good news. I really just told you the bad news, but I'm gonna give you the good news, the last thing I share with you. Let me put it like this. You heard of a man named Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Well, this is why Jesus came. Because he knew you were not gonna be able to keep the standard. So God sent his son, roughly 2,000 years ago, and all of the sin in the world went on Jesus. As a matter of fact, he became guilty because he took on our sin. It was like a man that stands in a courtroom. Let's just say you went to a courtroom, you got a bunch of speeding tickets. This man steps into the courtroom and pays your fine. Now the judge can do what?
And you let me go.
He can let you go because of the mercy of the man that paid your fine.
Yeah.
Well, the Bible says that God sent Jesus to pay our fine. All of the sin of the world went on him. And the Bible says when God crushed him on the cross, he should have been crushing who? But he crushed his son instead. That's how much he loved us.
Yeah.
That he crushed his son, and on the cross, the last words Jesus said on the cross is, God, it is finished. I've done what you told me to do. And he's hoping that you will look down what he did 2,000 years ago. And if you would turn over your rights to Jesus, then God will allow Jesus to pay your what?
I'm saying.
Yeah. And now God can legally let you come in. You can escape hell because of what Jesus did on the cross. So here's a scenario. Just imagine, man, you got you got charged with murder. Because we all killed Jesus based on what the Bible says.
Yeah.
The judge gives you electric chair. They strap you in that chair. You sit in that chair like you are. They strap both arms in, put your chest in, put the electrical bucket on your head. Execution goes out of the room, about to flip the switch. What's your last dying words?
I probably don't even. I'm just gonna be thinking.
Speech
Like,
it.
yeah, I really just did. I really just put myself in the predicament.
Yep. Well, right before he flipped the switch, to your surprise, do you remember the judge that gave you your sentence? He comes into the room and he stops the execution. And you're curious about why the judge is standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, with his voice trembling, he calls his 18-year-old innocent son into the room. He's trying to figure out, why is his 18-year-old son coming into the room? I want you to meet my buddy here, Fathead. You
said, what is it?
You got,
Fathead.
I ain't gonna call you that, bro. What's your name, bro?
If people don't call me Fathead, they call me Callaway.
Callaway. Okay. All right.
so I can't call you that. I love you, man. Love you, bro. All right, so I'll finish. So here you are, standing in front of the judge. And he calls his 18-year-old son in the room. When as soon as he sees his son, the judge says to his son, "Do you remember what we talked about?" The 18-year-old son says, "Yeah, Daddy, I remember what we talked about." And he looks at you with the most compassionate eyes you've ever seen. So he says, "Daddy, hand me the keys." His daddy hands him the keys. He goes over and he unhooks your chest, your arms, and everything. He tells you to stand next to the chair. His son sits in your place, straps his son, his innocent son, in the chair, put the electrical bolts on his head. Now you're standing there like you're looking now, complete shock.
What the world?
What's going on, right? Well, the judge goes out of the room and he puts his hand on the switch, flips the switch, and executes his innocent son for who?
My life.
Yeah. The judge comes back in the room as soon as he sees his son's body that's been burned on your blood. He breaks down on the ground. He starts crying and he says, "Fathead, my son has paid your fine. Would you accept what my son has done in this chair?" If you accept it, what does the judge can do now? What can the judge do with you?
Let you go.
He can let you go. How would you live your life?
The right way.
You'll never be the same again.
Yeah.
Why?
Cause I just keep thinking back on that.
The mercy of the judge.
Yeah.
Well, Fathead, the reason why I'm sharing you that is that God did that with his son. He put his son in your place, and he flipped the switch on him, and he crushed him in hell. Crushed hell on him. But he's hoping that you look at it what his son did and do what? Accept what he's done, and choose to live your life for who?
Myself.
Not for yourself.
But Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. And the Bible says God will show you mercy, man. If you will just give your heart to him, he'll help you live the life that you can't live. That's what happened to me. When I heard that message, man, I said, I got to tell everybody about this. So, Fathead, I'm hoping, man, that you would accept what Jesus did on the cross, man. I'm hoping you'll surrender your life to him. And he'll change your whole desires, man. He'll give you a new desire, new affections, give you a new direction. So what you thinking, Fathead?
Changing.
You for real?
Yeah.
So if you had to put it on, red light says, I don't really want to follow Jesus, I'm good. Yellow light says, man, I don't know. I need to think about this. I still got some stuff in my system I want to get out. Some people do. And green light says, I'm ready to repent and I'm ready to follow Jesus.
Now you wanna know what's crazy though?
What's up?
My grandma always talked to me about that. So it's like, from when I really understand what she was saying, I started changing. So that's what I say about when I fell in love with sports and I was like, I'm trying to do this for my family. That's when I really changed my 9th grade year.
Wow.
That's when I really changed and I just started doing good. I ain't gonna count. It ain't no point in me lying. I'm too grown to lie now. So
Absolutely,
I don't need to lie no more. Cause it's like, if I did it, I gotta have the consequence. So
man.
So I've been started changing.
Yeah, man.
But now I probably just, for sure, like.
You know it now.
Yeah.
Because of what Jesus did, man.
Yeah.
Fathead, man, I appreciate you letting me interview you, man.